American Dead. You want them up there?
Standing, please.
Okay.
It's all set for you, too. All I need is an audio level. Can you say...
Okay, we're going to talk about the Folklife Festival, 15 years worth.
Yes.
And you're going to pose the questions.
I'm not going to pose any questions. I was just hoping you could let it go.
What do you want me to cover then?
Okay.
How extensively?
Really, we're interested in why the deaf folklore area is here this year. I know it's the first year, but also saying that the festival is continuing, so how it relates to the entire festival.
Okay.
You all set?
It took the festival 15 years to work its way up to dealing with what is basically a straightforward but rather challenging subject, the presentation of deaf traditional culture as American folklore. We've presented the obvious, people playing banjos and dancing square dances, Native Americans singing, doing crafts. Those are obvious things. And then we've presented ethnic groups, regional groups, occupational groups, but we've always looked at a sense of groupness to present on them all, not just to present a little bit of dancing and a little bit of music or a little bit of food, but to try to get across what the essence of a group means. The smallest group we're part of is a family, 2 or 3 people. And we did programs with family folklore as early as '74. Deaf people in this country, non-hearing people, also comprise a kind of family. They have shared traditions. They are definitely a group, and they share a sense of identification with each other as a group. And the characteristics that hold them together, aside from the fact that they are non-hearing, are that they are affirmative in communicating with their hands through sign language, and are very articulate, as we've learned in through this experience, by using their hands. So what we've been trying to do in this presentation of the culture of deaf Americans, non-hearing Americans, is to show the American public that any group of people, once it constitutes itself as a group and understands itself as a group and functions as a group, has a body of culture, important cultural material, which is valid for presentation in the context of a living exhibition of the National Museum. And that's exactly what the Deaf Culture program consists of. It's an effort to, first of all, get at that material, and then to explain to the general public what it is that deaf people have amongst themselves that's very special. The kinds of jokes, the kinds of narratives, the kinds of shortcuts and vernacular language that they have in sign language, the kinds of approaches that they take to solving the kinds of problems that anyone has. How do you get up on time? How do you make sure you hear the telephone when it's ringing or the doorbell when it's ringing? So some of the exhibitions have dealt with those sort of immediate problems of how do you cope with some of the pressures of life. Other exhibitions have dealt with the arts expressions of deaf people, theater, drama, and such. But essentially doing a presentation on the folk culture of non-hearing Americans has been no different than doing a presentation on any other of the subcultural groups that we've presented in the past 15 years.
How has this exhibit been received? Has it been received well by the hearing population?
Yeah, I think there's always a great deal of curiosity when we start a new program. Well, how the heck does this fit into a folk festival? It's been received just as family folklore was received. And you yourself probably were aware of the fact that many, many people came through this tent today who sat down and to share in front of a video camera in sign language some of their cultural material, some of their cultural baggage, if you will, to tell stories and provide us with narratives about deaf culture. I think it's been received very well.
What is the possibility of this exhibit returning next year?
We always sit down after a festival and try to figure out what's an important next step. And sometimes we try to do a specific program for 2, 3, 4 years. and some programs we do once and then we skip a year or two and then come up and do it again. So I can't answer that question right now till a whole bunch of us sit down and try to figure out what the shape of the festival will be next year. But it seems very likely that now that we've gotten ourselves thinking about this kind of a program, there's every reason to assume that it'll come back, if not next year, in 2 years or 3 years, perhaps next year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Great.
That was
Good
good.
questions.